Hello, everyone, and welcome to Toonkind at 12 FPS. This is Feelings Jam. I am Staria, your DM sort of DM for the first part, and I will be playing March. And I am joined here today with my two friends. Please introduce yourself and your characters.
Sup, I'm Mira. I will be playing Sammy Jax today.
And we love him.
And
We
he loves you.
do.
He loves you both
Aw.
very much.
Oh. And hey there, I am Morski, but just call me Morski. And I will be playing resident small wizard Hugh script, so
And we
he's
love
ready
him
now.
as well.
Yes.
Oh. And he loves right back.
Alright, so, it is a usual day. Sammy, today you're going to Hugh's apartment for your usual, reading lessons.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing?
Well, the last time Sammy saw Hugh, it was before everything. Before everything happened.
Yep. Before literally everything.
Before
Yeah.
all of the narrators decided to dogpile on him and drag him into so much chaos it left his head spinning.
Yep.
F in the chat.
So how are you looking forward to finally having a normal day with one of your friends?
Oh, yes. As soon as Hugh contacted Sammy for, hey, why don't you come over for a reading lesson? We haven't had one of those in a bit. Sammy lit up, like, legit. Like, his shading was highlighter yellow, and I'm pretty sure Barkson and Coda took one glance at him and were like, huh, okay, he's really happy. So yeah, he's really excited. He's really excited about this because, oh, friends, I get to be a normal toon for a day. Oh, this is gonna be great.
Oh my goodness, Sammy, you need a hug.
He
does.
does.
You need a hug. I mean, thankfully, also, this is Hugh we're talking about. He'll give you a hug, but oh my goodness.
He will hug right back. This boy loves hugs. He loves hugs, you guys. He will not say no to a hug.
We
That's
will hug
awesome.
We will hug the Sammy.
Because Hugh is right in the same boat. Cool.
So, Hugh, how are you doing?
Hugh's doing pretty well, honestly. It's like he's had some good encounters recently, made some new friends. He contacted Sammy because, hey, it's been a while. He hasn't heard from him. And, well, they agreed on those reading lessons, didn't they?
They sure did.
So, like, he's cheerful. He's also just, like, a little bit nervous, I guess. Or just he has been a bit distracted then, because also this is the first time he's giving reading lessons to anyone, so he doesn't want to mess up.
Oh, baby.
I hold him soft.
I hold him soft as well. So, it's time for the reading lessons. Sammy, you're probably at the door of the apartment. I'm not gonna make you roll. I'm not gonna make you roll survival because then who knows what might happen.
Plus,
yeah, don't worry, that will be my part.
Oh boy,
Sammy has been at Hugh's apartment before, so yeah.
Yeah.
He knows his way.
He knows
where to go, thankfully.
Yeah, and you, I'm gonna guess you knock on the door?
Yep. Sammy's gonna knock.
So, Hugh, you hear a knock on the door.
Yeah, awesome. He was like gonna yell out, chirp out, oh, I'm coming. and he's just like gonna briefly stop by the kitchen because like March is in the house, and he's just gonna say, "Hey, so my friend's coming over for those reading lessons. I'll be right back." And like he's going to noom down the stairs.
Yep, March is giving you a brief thumbs up. His hands are probably full with uh, his whatever is baking, and you open the door, and there is one Sammy in front of your door.
Yeah, Hugh's brightened up and is like going, "Hey, Sammy."
Hey, Hugh. Roll me perception.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Please be kind to me, Dice Parser, I'm begging you. And that was a 9.
Okay, the DC wasn't really high. Hugh, you look at Sammy and you notice several things. When you met him, he was wearing kind of like his outfit was more of like, almost kind of like a poncho, almost, with billowy sleeves and stuff with rainbow edging. Now it's a robe with rainbow edging. And there's clearly a holy symbol kind of pinning the robe top shut. And you look at Sammy and you notice his eye color is different.
Huh. Well, I'm gonna be honest, for the clothes bit, he was probably just thinking, "Oh, Sammy must have got new clothes. They look really nice." For the eyes bit though, that's new. Like, I guess, yeah, I think first of all, after the high, like, okay, who am I kidding? Hugh goes, like, give a hug, cause it's been a while, and Sammy certainly showed no issue with picking Hugh up before, so it's probably fine.
Sammy will hug him back.
And, Hugh's just gonna go like, "So, yeah, hi, how are you doing? I noticed your eyes," or it's like, "I noticed your eyes are gold now. Did something happen?"
Hugh, I'm not gonna make you roll for this because you are currently hugging Sammy, but Sammy flinches.
Huh. If it's something problematic or you don't want to talk about it, that's okay. Sorry, it's just I noticed it, so.
It's okay. Can we go inside? I don't really want to tell you about it if it in the doorway.
Yeah, no, of course. If you don't want to talk about it at all, that's fine too, yeah? Because Hugh's honestly feeling bad now.
Oh, Hugh, you sweet bean. Sammy just kind of shakes his head and his eyebrows kind of furrow a little, and he's like, no, it's stuff I probably should talk about. It's
okay.
Prismatone says I shouldn't bottle things up, and I'm pretty sure she meant not just my emotions, so. And he kind of just shrugs.
And know that like is like, okay then, that's fair, and like he's just going to take Sammy's hand and like squeeze it a bit in comfort and close the doors, bring him upstairs.
Sammy's he's gonna let Hugh lead him. He's been in Hugh's apartment like once, but he's not gonna just charge up the stairs and expect to know where he's going.
There's also the fact that like at this point it's been a little while, so I mean the room configuration is the same, but there are some changes. For one, somehow there are even more books. And for two, you probably noticed there are a lot of pictures and stuff on the wall, and just more life in general. You notice a couple of rubber duckies sitting proudly in one place, and you'll notice a familiar painting on the wall.
Sammy's shading kind of brightens back up to a yellow as he just looks at how much more personality the apartment has, and he's just like, "You've really settled in here, huh?"
Yeah. And I even have a roommate now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, actually, he's right over at the kitchen. I'll introduce you to him.
So the two of you, where do you go now? Do you go to the couch in the living room?
Pretty much how I imagine things are. So literally, there's the apartment door, the stairs up. Well, the stairs go up. You are at the living room then, and like the kitchen is to the left. So he probably goes over to just like get over to the kitchen and just go, "Hey, we're here."
And from the kitchen comes out a familiar Toon, carrying a couple of trays of hot steaming cookies, in one in each arm, two in total. And Sammy, you know this Toon.
Sammy's shading goes sky blue, and he's just like, "March!"
Sammy?
Do you two know each other?
Yeah.
March looks at between Sammy and Hugh. Do you two know each other?
Sammy starts giggling.
He was like, yeah. Wait, did I seriously never say who? I forgot to tell you who's coming over. What's the name of my friend coming over, didn't I? And like Hugh is face palming.
Mark is just like is like kind of frozen in place for a bit because he did not expect to see Sammy of all people here. Huh? Okay.
World, huh?
Yeah, because he baked the cookies for Hugh and his friend, and it's like, okay, I guess I'll meet that friend when I bring the cookies. But then it's like, oh wait, it's Sammy. I know Sammy.
Hugh on his side is just. Oh, sorry. You can go first if you want.
Sammy has started to laugh so hard he can't. Like there are tears in his eyes. I'm just saying, like he is just like so tickled by this.
Mark is also chuckling at this. He's like, well, this is one thing I did not expect to see.
And Hugh on his side, I think, is just feeling it's like just, he's a little embarrassed, and by a little, I mean his hair is fluffing up and he's gone a bit pink because I can't believe I forgot to mention who's coming over. Well, I think he's cheerful too, just simply because, hey, it's nice, we already know each other.
Yeah.
This is really ironic.
Mark kind of laughs and said, well, now the introductions are out of the way and apparently not necessary. You do have a reading lesson, right? I made some cookies for the both of you.
Do you both want to roll me insight on Hugh?
Okay, roll insight. Sammy, your insight is a plus.
That's a 17.
Also a 17.
You won't get a 17, and only a 17.
Dice Parser says we get 17.
And you'll like it.
We do.
And yeah, on that note, you'll kind of realize that, you probably hear Hugh's stomach grumble just a little bit as he's looking at the cookies, because they look really good.
Sammy's gonna nudge Hugh towards the cookies just because go eat.
But we were supposed to start reading lessons?
We can have cookies.
March sighs and just like, we can start the reading lesson after we eat the cookies. You too, Sammy. I don't know how, if you ate, how, because if you did, That's good, but if you didn't, you're also eating cookies.
Sammy kind of just looks a little shifty-eyed.
Now Hugh
Sammy?
is giving Sammy a look as well. Just okay, then I guess we're in agreement. We can all eat a bit.
Sammy's just like, I was gonna eat after her. March, do you mind rolling me perception?
Alright.
By the way, what
But
was that?
19!
Okay.
Dang.
Dang, you notice immediately as soon as like Sammy has stopped laughing, his eyes were white before when you met him. And they're gold now. And you notice something really weird because they're the exact same shade of yellow as is shading right now. And also, hey, his clothes, they're completely different from when you first saw him. Their robes, their same general theme, but you look at Sammy and you realize he's gone through a redesign. And you especially know that Sammy's had trouble in the past. And you kind of just, you're looking at Sammy and like you're seeing how happy he is, but you notice that it's like he's relieved to be here with you guys.
Oh, Sammy, I am holding him soft.
And like just being surrounded by friends, he's like so happy to be here. And it's not just because, oh hey, it's friends. There's something that happened that triggered a redesign. And yeah. Something happened while you guys weren't there.
And March isn't too familiar with redesigns. He never had one himself, but he kind of like thinks about it for a second, and he just like, after like leading everyone to the table and like putting down the cookies, he's like,
softly bullying everyone into taking some cookies.
Yeah, and if you eat and when you do eat them, after warning you, but be careful, they're hot, you'd find that they're very
Hugh
good
immediately
cookies.
sticks one in his mouth because he's eaten March's cookies before. They're good.
Yeah, and they're really good cookies. Because, fun fact, I rolled to see how good the cookies were, and I got a 21. So yeah, I got a dirty 21. So yeah, the cookies are good.
Sammy will be definitely nibbling on his because he's taking March's warning of careful, they're hot, seriously.
Yeah, and March kind of just like, I see you had a redesign.
Sammy,
I think Hugh. Sorry, it's just like I think Hugh's eyes light up at that, and like he's now looking over curiously too, just kind of connecting that plus the fact that hey, Sammy has gold eyes now.
Mm-hmm.
And March tilts his head and is just like, is everything alright? I know because I know there's with the thing with when we first met.
Can you roll insight?
Oh, sure. Wait, what'd you say?
Could you roll insight? Because, like, March,
Yeah.
what you just said is, like, gonna ring warning bells for Hugh.
In March, with your 19 in perception, you see Sammy flinch again.
Yeah, Hugh got to 17.
You know March, and you know when you know that tone that's under with there is so much concern, and how should I say? He's very worried for Sammy, and he doesn't really know how to say it properly, but he's very much worried for because of what happened when they first met, and he's just like a bit on a say the word and I will go on a warpath for you.
And Hugh, even though the insight wasn't for Sammy in specifics, you noticed the flinch. And you kind of figure that, hey, maybe the gold eyes are tied to that.
Yeah, it's like Hugh gets the ... above his head, and then he just turns to Sammy and goes, if you need someone on your side, we're both with you, okay?
And Sammy's eyes kind of crinkle in a smile, but it's not the same kind of crinkling that you guys would have seen before you had seen him last, when he smiled a lot more freely. It's a very minute smile, like he's smiling. The crinkle is like very minute, like as if he's smiling softly, but also a little sadly as he looks at the both of you, and he just kind of sets the cookie down. It's not really that much eaten. He's letting it cool a bit, and he kind of looks at the both of you, and he's like, thanks. It's over for now. He's still out there, but it's over for now.
I still hear the for now, though. Like, if you need us to beat someone up, we can do it. And Hugh is just giving you a resolute look. It's like...
Sammy's, like, arms are kind of...
I'm just like, Hugh is looking at you resolutely and like, yes, Sammy, you've never seen it, but, you know what, for fun, I'm gonna say Hugh, like, casts a small, like, prestidigitation, and you, like, see a couple of electricity sparks fly, so, like, just, like, a hint that apparently this kid knows magic, okay?
Sammy's arms are kind of like, they're kind of like just like they've been kind of resting on the table and stuff, and you both see his hand kind of just naturally gravitate towards his right wrist, and he's holding it, and he kind of looks at the both of you, and he's just, you don't want to fight this person. I don't want you guys to get hurt because of me. I'm not worth you guys getting killed over me. Or worse.
And March just kind of like, he looks at you, and he actually... Sammy, roll me insight.
Okay, that is a plus. Whoops. Okay, dirty 20. Dirty 20.
Nice.
Dirty 20. So, when you said killed for me, because of me, you see March. It's not really a flinch. It's more of a... I know that it's more of a... March has similar thoughts about a similar case a lot of times, and he very much knows that feeling of knowing that there is something that might get your friends and even family killed or hurt because of you. And he he doesn't say anything, but you can see he very much wants to put you into a hug, but he's holding back because he doesn't know if you want that.
First of all, can I just can he roll insight on all of this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Hugh got a nat 20.
Hell
and
yeah.
Rose got a nat 22.
Hugh has the brain cell.
Hugh, you notice this kind of moment of shared understanding between Sammy and March, and you realize that Sammy's scared for the both of you because you're both raring to go fight this faceless person that you don't even know. And you look at Sammy and his shading is purple, and you realize that means he's terrified.
I think at that, Hugh is going to just I guess push himself up from the chair, and he's gonna go over to both March and Sammy. And I'm just gonna say, it seems like this is only for Sammy at first, but this is for the both of you.
Oh.
Look, sometimes
Baby.
it's sometimes it's worth getting into scuffles for friends, and I know on my end I've dealt with my fair share of trouble. It may feel like you shouldn't ask for help, but it's more worth it doing it together, you know? And it might be scary and might be terrified, but we're doing this because we want to, yeah? Because we care.
Marge starts laughing weakly, and he just, in a sort of quiet voice. You don't need to roll perception to hear it, but it's just we all of us sure do have our own share of trouble, huh?
Yeah, March would know what happened to Hugh in the past, huh?
Yep. Hugh told him.
Sammy
and
doesn't.
Hugh knows more or less what happened with March.
Sammy doesn't, but he can read the room. He can read the room. He knows that practically everyone in Toontown has their own story and their own backstory. And he's been around enough Toons to know that, oof, some of those backstories are ouch.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say Hugh's going to just tug the both of you into a hug, cause he gets what it's like to be scared, but he wants you both to know that he's there for you, and that he's ready to throw hands for you. He won't regret it.
March definitely hugs back. And actually I'll save it for a bit later.
Yeah, Sammy is hugging Hugh very tightly. He's kind of curled up around you, Hugh, kind of just in a very protective manner, kind of as if he can shield you from this faceless person that you don't know. And he just kind of quietly shakes his head, and he's just I don't want you guys to ever be in the position I was in.
Okay, but I hope you know that we're here for you, yeah? And if you ever want the help, we'll come running.
Yeah, it's not that I don't want the help, it's that Hugh, March, there's a Toon dead because of him. And I'm pretty sure he's killed so many more.
Well, I guess that's all the more reason to stand by you then when the time comes.
If he comes for
like-
you, we're not, or at least I'm not going to run. I have my defenses, and I will hold down, because I'm not going to give up you or your life for mine. I don't think. Actually, this was morbid. This was too morbid. None of us are going to die. We're gonna be fine.
And a burden is easier held when it's shared. You're not alone. And we're not so defenseless either, so...
But can you guys defend against charm magic? Do you guys have defenses against that?
Ironically enough, Hugh's wisdom save is a +5 because he is a pecking wizard.
Yeah,
I mean, Mark is a -1, so I'm guessing. So he's valid.
Oh, March, I'm holding you soft so much.
Also, I'm looking at these kids, and you really do be the emotionally stable one in this family, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dear Lord, I wanna, all of them need to be held soft.
In response to do you have anything for charm magic, March is kind of like, well, and he's gonna roll hammer space.
Awesome. And I think he will say, well...
That
Nice! Also, I'm just gonna say on Hugh's end, it's like, well...
Alright, now it's
I'm a
time
pretty
to pull.
Or no, just Hugh's gonna pipe up to the charm magic bits, just like, well, I'm pretty proficient in magic myself, so I'd like to think I can break it over my knees if someone tries. He just says this cheerfully.
Hugh, I love you.
Alright, so March, he put his hand in his he puts his hand in his sleeve, trying to reach for his house space, and he pulls out an origami paper star. He's like, that's not what I wanted. And then a sea of origami paper stars just pour from his sleeve into a pile, but it's as large as Hugh. And March just kind of looks at it and he sighs. It's like, well,
Can I say that Hugh gets buried in those origami stars and Hugh squeaks as that happens?
Yeah, probably. March is just like, that is not what I wanted. Let me try again.
I just have this image of Hugh sitting in the sea of origami stars.
March then goes into his sleeve again, and he pulls out what the two of you recognize as a friendship token. And it's like, no, not this either. And he puts it back. That's another D10. That's another fumble.
This is just... Now there's enough origami stars to bury Sammy.
Yeah, that's
Sammy is now buried.
Yeah, and March is just fucking his head is in his arms. I did not mean for this to happen.
Sammy started to giggle at this point, very tearily.
Yeah,
oh my God.
He is laughing too. Just March, I think you'll need to pull your two friends back up.
Yeah, so March just kind of pulls Hugh out of the origami pile of death, then pulls Sammy out of the origami pile of death, and then after that, he just kind of glares at the origami paper stars. There's like there are like in many colors. So it's like you name a color, it's there.
Rainbow. Rainbow.
Yes, rainbow.
Sammy is very happy. He was buried in origami paper stars.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say Hugh is giggling, but also he's now holding on to March, so like in case this happens again, he isn't buried.
Yeah. So then he reaches into his hammer space again, and he pulls out a crossbow. And Sammy, how many movies do you watch?
A lot.
Would he happen to see Star Cause?
Of course, March was in there.
Then you immediately recognize this is the same prop, but Munchie uses. This is the same heavy crossbow, but Munchie uses throughout the movies. This is his signature weapon. And March pulls it out, and he shows it to you, and he says, "Well, people may think it's a prop because it was used for the movie, but the engineer is a crazy guy, and he made it an actual weapon. So I have this heavy crossbow, and he loads it, and the bolt, instead of being a physical bolt, it turns in its like light blue energy, like March's sleeve. So it's like light blue energy bolt, and he shows it to you. It's like it's an actual fucking weapon, my dude.
Sammy's eyes have grown like wide, and then like his shoulders kind of relax because you two have given him enough information about yourselves to reassure him that if it came down to a fight, you guys wouldn't go down easy if the boogeyman that's in Sammy's head came knocking. And then but then he kind of looks between the two of you and then kind of just rubs at his wrist again. Do you guys mind rolling perception for me again?
Alright.
Okay, let's see how badly this goes.
That's a 4. Come on, March.
And that's a 21 from Hugh.
Finally, he lives up to his name as the brain cell of the group.
Staria, roll again for me.
Alright. That's
okay.
a 10, March, please.
Well, you beat the DC, so.
March is just doing his best, and we
March
love
is
him.
trying to gather up the origami stars.
Yes.
March, you look up and you see that Sammy's rubbing at these rainbow-colored speckles of, like, they look like freckles, maybe? It's weird that he's rubbing his arm like that. You're not entirely sure. You know something's up, though. And then, Hugh, you're looking at Sammy and you are seeing these freckles? No. Those aren't freckles. Those are little dotted scars.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's well, Hugh has his own experience with scars, so I think he's just going to give Sammy just a quiet hug.
And March, he doesn't know about the scars, but he's just like offhand, just like trying not. Actually, I'm gonna roll deception. Oh my god, that's a
That's a
natural!
nat
No, March,
20.
it's a disadvantage! No! March, you're not supposed to be good at this! Okay, that's an 11.
That nat 20 was for the terrible rolls in perception earlier.
Yeah, god, March, you are not supposed to be good at this. So, he sees you rubbing your wrist, and March, like, you can definitely see on instinct that March goes to do the same, but he kind of catches himself and puts his hand behind his back, and like, you can still see he's holding his wrist, but like, he's trying to hide it. He's doing a terrible job at doing so, but he's trying to.
Can I roll perception to see if Hugh notices this?
Sure. Oh my god.
Hugh is currently doing his best to comfort Sammy, so I guess March did the smart thing and did this when Hugh could not see him. Dang.
Yeah, do you want to roll insight/perception, Sammy?
I'm gonna roll perception. That's 16.
Yeah.
Sammy
Yeah,
notices.
that makes it. You see it, and like, March kind of like, after like a few seconds of like doing it, he sort of catches himself again and separates his arm and is like, "You probably shouldn't do that."
What? Oh, right. And Sammy kind of stops rubbing his wrist because it's a tick. It's not something he does on purpose. And he looks down at his arms that are like, his sleeves have kind of been pushed up slightly to like his middle of where the elbow is.
Yeah.
And stuff like, which is why you were able to see it, Hugh. And he just looks at them and he's like, I know you guys say that if he comes for me, I shouldn't be scared to ask for help, but you guys, he already did. He took me from Tally, and Barkson was able to rescue me, but it already happened once. And I'm on alert, so he's not gonna get the drop on me, but I'm scared it's gonna happen again, and I don't want anyone to get hurt because of me.
Sometimes, well, first of all, you are being squeezed around the middle, Sammy. I hope you are aware of this. 'Cause holy bleep. But yeah, otherwise, you're gonna hear from Hugh. Sometimes things happen. The best we can do is prepare for them, but it's fair to be worried, but we're all worried for you too.
Sammy just kind of...
So we aren't leaving you be. It's too late now.
Sammy kind of just gives a little teary laugh and just hugs you back, Hugh. He just... Thank you. Thanks, you guys. It means a lot that you'd want to protect me. Because he kind of just flounders. It's very obvious he doesn't have the words to explain himself or his feelings at all.
March is gonna lean down and hug again. He probably put the crossbow back in his hammer space, and he's just like gonna hug Sammy.
Look, we'll make this a 2-hour hugging session if we have to, so help us.
Sammy's just gonna kind of... any tension that was in his body is now gone as you two are hugging him. Just, oh, hugs are nice. Hugs are very, very nice. Melt.
Baby.
And it's, again, you have March, who is a great hugger with 4 arms, and I'd like to think Hugh is an okay hugger himself.
Yes, yes. Sammy is being hugged front and back, and it is very good. He is being hugged. He is being held. He needs this.
And he will be hugged.
Absolutely, and look, if you want to as well, Hugh is the perfect size to be picked up and hugged, so he won't stop you if that's done.
Sammy might actually do that. Just might scoop him up and just, bear hug. Hug.
Oh,
Hugs.
Yeah, and he kind of he pauses for a moment and then he's like, well, not everything that's happened has been bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I had it. He kind of mumbles something under his breath.
Can perception,
Both of you
but
roll
with
perception with advantage
I'm gonna roll
because you're
perception,
hugging
yeah.
him.
Exactly. The dice note that Hugh is being hugged right up tight, like a teddy bear.
Yeah, Sammy
He
currently
can
has
hear
his
you, Sammy.
Sammy has his face buried in your hair. You can totally hear him. That's why you got him at 20.
Yes.
Staria, do you want to roll again to see if you can beat that 17?
Alright, let's see.
Let's go.
That's a 5. Yeah, we'll go with
Boo!
17.
Dice parser,
Oh, well.
boo. Anyways, with that
Boo.
17 and that nat 20, you guys hear, I have 2 boyfriends now.
I mean, you
Martin.
can't see his face, but Hugh has brightened up a bit and just immediately went, "Congrats!"
You hear Mark go, oh, cool!
And Sammy's just like, March, you know, one of them, kind of.
March is gonna roll history because I'm not sure he'll. That's a 13. Do you think he'll know?
I think, you kind of are like, wait, and, Sammy, continues, and it kind of confirms you're like, wait a minute. And he's like, it's skill trouble. He's,
right. Yo, right.
he's,
He's like, oh, he was definitely, staring at a specific point in space, just like, who? And then it's like Gil's like, oh, right.
and Sammy's just like,
Light bulb moment.
we're nemesis now. We're nemesis now. And there is a visible pink flush on Sammy's face. It's his boys. It's his boys, and he is both embarrassed and in love, and oh jeez.
I feel like Hugh's just going to pat Sammy on the back a bit, and it's like, well, I've never met them. Will you introduce us sometime? And he's giving you just a cheeky smile, just a small one.
Sammy's kind of he's by this point he's pulled his head back from being buried in Hugh's hair, and there's this visible dot as he tries to imagine the chaos that's going to happen if he introduces Gil to Hugh and March.
Oh boy.
And
March
he's
is
just,
gonna.
he's just like,
March is Oh boy.
It's like Gil is a terrible influence. The game.
Yep. March is going to pull away slightly from the hug just so he can actually sit down because he has yet to sit. He hasn't sat down the entire time. And it's just like, well, if we're all spilling our guts right now, I might as well tell my, and he does like air quotes with like all four of his hands, story, I guess.
Oh no.
Sammy is looking at March because he saw that shared understanding, and he kind of reaches over and like just kind of gently squeezes one of March's hands.
And Mark squeezes back, and he kind of like.
Here's the thing. I think I just have this image that this is all happening while Sammy still has Hugh like picked up in a hug.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
He was basically in Sammy's lap now.
Oh.
Baby has become teddy bear.
And yeah, Hugh is like giving a small nod to March and just, I'm with you.
So March kind of like looks basically everywhere but the two of them, and it's a couple, like it's a good like 20 seconds before he like actually starts talking, and he starts like, so how do I? Turns out it's not very good for the mental health when you that your long dead sister apparently not dead and is trying to kill you. What can I say?
Sammy's hand tugs March over to him, and he's now hugging you as well.
And and I think it's a given that like Hugh is giving you a hug as well, March.
March is hugging the two of them, and there's a, well, it's really slight, but there's a slight tremble in his arms, because he's very not used to like actually talking about this stuff, despite Hugh knowing and despite other people knowing. And then he just like, he continues speaking. So, Sammy, remember when we first met? When we first met, it was after Gil broke into the studio and caused some mayhem.
Yeah, I remember. And Sammy he's kind of like shifted you around, so like you're basically kind of leaning against his shoulder, and he's kind of got your head kind of cupped protectively.
Aww.
While he's doing this. He's like, because he knows March is younger than him. And
March is 15.
Yeah.
March is while he is the tallest, he is also the youngest.
Yeah, and
so
I
March
mean,
is being basically cradled very protectively right now.
Yeah, and it's like March, well, he's hugging you, he is holding onto your hand. Well, hands, so...
And he continues talking. A few weeks, months before that was when I first saw her again after 8 years? And how fitting, well, maybe not fitting, but our first interaction was she stabbed me. And that sure was a thing, but sure did happen.
Aren't you just being squeezed by Hugh now?
Okay, Sammy, let's see how well you take this.
Oh boy!
Oh boy!
Hee hee hoo hoo. Let's see how this goes. Let me just...
Oh dear.
Okay, all that really happens is that his shading has shifted from blue to this red color as he listens to you, March, and he's just very gently kind of just petting at the petals on your head, and his hand moves down to your shoulder and just, it gives a squeeze, and he's like, Seems like a lot of sisters are wanting to hurt their little siblings. Their siblings. It seems to be a pattern. And he's being very careful to sound very measured right now.
Should I try rolling insight anyway?
I mean, you can.
I get the feeling that he was probably the most calm, right? Oh, nope, he does not catch it. He's
gonna try as
spoken-
well.
I
That's a net one. Okay.
Both
March
of
is
you
too-
do not
I think
perceive.
this makes sense though, because March is currently telling this and is not having a good time, and Hugh has now put all of his focus to just try and comfort his brother as much as he can.
Yeah, March is kind of like he's not really looking at Sammy or Hugh. He's just like looking at the ceiling, just like, well, guess we're both sort of messed up in our own way. But I thought she died, and she came back wanting to get revenge on something. I don't. And not even just that, she doesn't just stop with me. She went to the studio. She almost killed Tobias.
Okay, let's just do. Huh. Okay,
Wow.
Sammy's control is iron today. All right. He with that dirty 20, you don't really see any changes in Sammy, but he's just holding you in a way that's very, very protective, March. And he is just, I'm sorry that she's dragged the people you care about into this. And
I don't know what happened. Before it was so different, and then she just disappeared, and Laurel didn't say anything about it, and then she came back 8 years later, and she's just so different.
Sammy nods and he just, oh, March, this is visible. Like, he's so very, the inside of him is basically aching that you've had to go through this. And he is just like, I don't know why certain tunes go through changes like this, but like you guys were telling me, we're here for you. You're not going to be facing this alone.
And March, I stand by what I said before. I'll never regret meeting you, and I'll never regret the fact that, well, we're living together now.
And Sammy kind of gives your shoulder a squeeze, and he's like, March, you saved me when we first met. You saved me from basically being bled dry by Sinclair, this man who doesn't even think tunes are real in the way that counts. You saved me when, at that point in my life, no one else would have given a damn. And that you're having to go through something like this, I'm so sorry, March, but you're not alone.
Really aren't. Also, dang it, I want you both to know that, like, Hugh Hugh, despite being the smallest, is like doing his best to have both of you in a hug. Because my goodness, y'all.
March is
Hugh
definitely hugging
cares.
the both of them.
Aw. And yeah, it's just Hugh cares.
Basically, what I imagine is what's happened is basically Hugh becomes sandwiched between Sammy and March.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
There is a Hugh sandwich of hug. A Hugh hug sandwich.
Hug sandwich. And March mentioned the name Laurel. Sammy, would you like to roll either history or arcana?
Let's see.
Oh, and I don't think March talked about it with Hugh as well, so wait, Morski, can you not hear us?
Oh no, Morski. Oh no.
Hold on for technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
Okay, I am hopefully back. I have no clue what went wrong.
Can
Sorry
you hear
about
us?
that.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you now.
What was the last thing
Good.
you heard?
Hugh getting sandwiched in between his two bigger friends.
Yes.
Alright, so from there I just said that March mentioned the name Laurel, and I asked if either Sammy or Hugh would like to roll either history or either history or arcana.
Okay.
Sammy knows shit all.
Come on, Hugh, do not fail us now.
That's a
23!
23!
I guess we can tell who the wizard here is.
Yeah!
Look, Sammy has a +0 in intelligence, so...
And we love him, we hold him soft. March has a
do.
-1, so I get you.
Hugh really do be like the brain cell holder.
Yeah!
With
+7
his
versus +0 versus +1.
Yep.
With Hugh's a +4 to intelligence and +2 to wisdom.
Bless.
Oh boy.
Yep. So, Hugh, you recognize this name immediately because you're a bookworm. You read a lot, so.
Hugh lived in a place with a pretty amazing library that knows it's. Let's just say that Hugh has been in a place that is well connected to magic shenanigans.
Yeah, so he probably read some articles about the research of one Laurel Arcane. I will spell it out in the roll zone.
Cool.
A real kind human wizard who was not very well known. She wasn't like too well known, but she is very powerful, and she's done research on what are toons like they're making, how they're like created, and all that kind of stuff. And you also know with that high of a roll that, well, she's been dead for 10 years.
Yeah.
And roll me a straight intelligence check.
Straight intelligence check, huh? That'll be fun.
Oh, you forgot the
I did that
you forgot the
incorrectly. Oops. Yeah.
Alright,
That's an 11.
Alright, you don't connect you don't connect it, but yeah, March's well, you don't really know what March's connection to her was, but you know she's a powerful wizard. You know that March knows her. You know that she's not too well known, and you know that she's been dead for 10 years now.
He's probably thinking that maybe Laurel is the one who took care of March in his early years. That must have been tough.
And, yeah. Are you gonna say anything about it, Hugh, or?
How does March seem right now?
Well, he's not, like, too... He's sort of just, like, kind of rambling, sort of, also, like, absently just, like, talking about the shit he went through. He doesn't look too, like, stressed out and, like, gonna cry soon, but it's, like, it's a bit of strain on him.
I think Hugh is just going to tuck this away to poke at March some other day.
Alright.
Because this is probably a pretty serious topic, and considering March would have presumably been 5 when Laurel passed away, and looks at the past, however long it's been since these 3 toons have started talking, Hugh probably figures there's enough stress on everyone's shoulders right now.
Mm-hmm.
He won't add pressure by pushing too far.
Anyways, it's been an hour for my segment alone, so do we wanna start going to the next segment?
Can?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm gonna just wrap this up. So, March
Way
kind
you
of like...
want to end this?
Yeah, so March just kind of stops talking, and he just, like, does, like, a deep breath, and just like, hey, how... We've been, kind of talking about, like, dark, bad stuff. How about we kind of, like, go on a little walk instead, and there's probably some interesting things outside. We can clear our heads a bit. We'll go back to the reading lesson later.
Sammy looks at Hugh and is just like, I did promise you to show you the shrine that I attend.
And yeah, you can see Hugh's eyes light up at this and like, oh yeah, that's a good point. We could go out and just see the sights a little bit, and well, if you're okay to show both of us, I would love to see Prisma's shrine.
March nods. March doesn't actually know about wait, should I roll history to see if March knows about Prismatone?
Yes, roll. Actually, roll.
That's okay.
You should honestly roll religion. So roll again.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Yet another -1. That's an 18.
Oh, nice.
Apparently, March does know.
Okay, so like.
Oh snap, Sammy! You know the 2 toons who are actually aware of Prisma.
March, basically what happens is it kind of confuses you a little bit when Hugh says Prisma, and then Sammy nods and says Prismatone, and then a light bulb goes over your head because, oh, you know of Prismatone.
And then March is just like, oh, right, I remember that one, right.
Sammy looks at you, March, and like his shading is like yellow as he tilts his head. Like, wait, ... You know about Prismatone?
Yeah, I
Did March also read about it in an old book?
March is just like, he's like thinking how to like say it. Just like, yeah, I think I encounter it during a in a book somewhere. Yeah.
Sammy kind of gives out like a little happy giggle, and he kind of like nudges Hugh, and it's just like, sounds like you and March both have a similar reading taste.
Just smile brightly, and it's like, yeah, looks like we do. It's And yeah, he's gonna pipe up. I ended up reading about Prisma in a book myself, so it's like high five.
March is like, I read about it. When did I read about it? He's just like, so, like, actually, like, thinking really hard. It's like, I think it was kind of a long time ago, actually.
Sammy nods. That tracks, and he's like, "Yeah, she's my goddess. She." It seems like all of Einquill's almost forgotten all about her. She was gone for a while, and then everybody just left her, and he kind of just shakes his head and he's like, "Anyway, it's fine. She's back now. It's okay."
Oh.
Okay, that's good.
And he kind of gets up and sets Hugh back down onto his feet, and he's just like, let's go for that walk. Clear our heads a bit. A walk would do us some good.
Okay. And I think like Hugh's just going to shuffle around a bit, probably just move a few books to the side, but he's actually going to take like a small paper bag and put some of the cookies inside. So they have a snack for later.
Yes,
Mark does that as well. Kind of like puts like half of the cookies in like a cup in like 3 bags and gives one for each one of them.
Sammy puts his in his hammer's face so he can get it later.
Yeah,
Mark does
honestly,
as well.
for half a second, I thought that March was gonna take Hughes as well, considering what happened in a previous FPS with these two.
Oh my god.
I don't think he will have to roll strength for these bags, thankfully. But
Yeah, he's not gonna roll strength and risk a nat 1.
trips over a chair. Now I'm gonna have to roll it.
No, Morski, no.
Actually, he doesn't. That was a 15.
Alright, it's not.
Hugh is completely fine. He just nicely puts the bag with cookies into his hammer space, maybe knocks into the chair slightly, and is like, okay, better push this back in. And that's that. He's ready to roll, guys.
All right. And I
And
guess
I
they
think
head
they
out.
go out. Yeah, they go out.
They go out, and I guess here's where I take the reins a bit.
Yep.
So, I guess first of all, I guess you're leading, Sammy. Do you want to roll me survival?
Oh boy.
Here we
Because
go.
this will tell us how long it takes to get to the shrine. A 10.
A
That's
10.
a 10.
And you know what? I'm gonna say the reason for that is, Sammy, you know where you're going. But there's a surprising amount of people outside today, so it's just taking a bit longer to get through the crowd.
Sammy's just like, crowd.
I feel like Hugh's going to try and take hold of one of you two's hands, because with a crowd he will get
Swept away.
Yeah, but he will get separated easily.
Sammy definitely are having, like, basically as soon as he realizes, oh, there's a lot of people here, he immediately holds out his hands for both March and Hugh to take.
Yeah,
Mark
Hugh will
takes his
happily
hand.
take it.
The oldest two here, instincts activate.
Yeah, that's valid, and it's like we have a 15-year-old on one side and a really small 17-year-old on the other, so...
And as the 18-year-old, who is medium-sized in comparison to both of these two, he is holding them very tightly.
That is valid. And I'll say, Sam, you probably just decide to then go to the side a little bit, maybe find an alternative path.
Mm-hmm, yep.
So you do. And thankfully, you do find somewhere just a little less crowded. And hey, what do you know? There are lots of stalls here. Does everyone want to roll me perception?
Oh, yeah.
Alright, let's see here. Dirty 22.
14.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I am just rolling Hugh's now. Sorry. And that. Nice. I like how Hugh and March both get 14. They are truly
You will get a
siblings.
14 and you will like it.
So yeah, I think March and Sammy both noticed lots of stalls, and there are a lot of pies on sale today. I wonder why. And there's
Sammy.
like this, there is this prank stall over here. That's unusual. Ooh, glitter confetti. That might be nice.
Sammy takes one look at these and goes, oh no. Oh no. April Fool's is next week because, haha, this is a flashback, kind of.
Yep, because the three of us share a brain cell, and we did not realize that our FPS was going to be on an April fucking Fool's. So we're like, well, this isn't an April Fool's FPS, so we're gonna have it be a flashback.
So yeah,
Sort
You
of.
can still throw in a small homage anyway.
Yep.
For
Yep.
fun.
Just Sammy's just like, oh no, it's next week. Oh no.
He's just gonna go, what's next week? He's confuzzled.
Yeah, Sammy and March is like, there's what?
Sammy looks at these two very, very fresh new faces to Toontown, and he's just like, oh no. Oh no. Oh, you poor sweet summer children. Oh no. And he's like, April 1st. The day when Toontown goes wild on gags and pranks, and it is chaos supreme.
Oh boy.
He just kind of has an expression on his face, because, I mean, he has experienced April Fools, but he's always been on the sidelines, so to say. His father never really celebrated it, so...
And like, just Sammy looks between the two of you, and he's like, no, you guys don't understand. Toontown goes nuts. It's chaos. There's everything going wild. There are gags, there are glitches, everything goes nuts in Toontown on April 1st.
Oh boy.
Like, he was just... I mean... do you have any suggestions for what to do? Is there anything we should be aware of?
Pies. Lots of pies, and he points at the pie stall with all of the pies stacked high, and he's just,
I want to say is so there are multiple pie stalls. One just has literal stacks on them, and the other one is just a pie stall sitting there. And it seems like there are a normal amount of pies being sold, but then you notice there's a bench beside it, and there are bench pies.
Oh my
Also
god,
many
the fucking
bench
bench!
pies.
Bench pies! Morski! March takes one look at the bench pies, has an immediate flashback, and he's like, nope!
like,
I don't
Sammy-
think Hugh even notices that bit. He's just like, okay, so note to self, and then everything that Sammy said.
like, I'm just like, Sammy's just like, get ready to duck.
March looks at himself, who is 6'8" and is very tall. He is very tall, and it's like, oh boy.
Sammy just shares a very commiserating look with Marge because, yeah, he's 6 foot even. He is a very good target.
Oh my god. Hugh is just looking up at both of you as the resident 4'6" tiny. So
Yeah.
Yeah, like just
He's
Sammy,
just going, oh.
and he's just like in glitter. There's so much glitter, and he just he has this glitter.
It's like he's having flashbacks. Probably is.
Honestly, he's having flashbacks to Gil's traps.
Oh boy.
Because, oh boy, he just, Gil is going to be a nightmare. Oh no. But it's like he just has this like look of dawning horror on his face.
Marge just kind of like pats him on the back, just like, well, good luck. We're all gonna need it, probably.
And he's just like, my garden is going to be very, very, very calm if Gil takes one step with a glitter bomb. I am whacking him with my broom.
Okay?
Well,
It's like Hugh is just like, okay, cool.
well, I'll know where to go when I need to relax.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll know exactly where it is because I'm going to show you now before we get before any early very enthusiastic tunes just decide to try and test out their new prank supplies. Come on.
Okay. Like, I'm just like, he's just going to nod, but there's actually one more thing though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's going to nod an okay and just I'll say you Sammy, you turn to, I guess, find the direction to run off in.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing though, you got that freaking 22 earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You noticed one last unusual stall. It's probably at the end of this alleyway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bit different from all the other ones, because there aren't any prank supplies or pies or what have you being sold. Instead, you find trinkets like these being sold.
Oh,
Yes.
they're so
Yes,
cute.
yes.
Oh, Morski. I'm just, oh my gosh, I hold them all soft. They're so cute.
I know, it's so good.
Oh, that's so cute. Sammy's attention is extremely, like, it is very grabbed. Very grabbed. He does not have any money, but he is looking.
And
Actually, I
Morski
won't
as
actually
well.
force. Yeah, I think when you stare at this, Sammy, the other two are gonna notice, and
It's
I
very
know
visibly.
and I'm just like straight up. Hugh's eyes are gonna lighten up, and you know what? Everyone, roll me religion.
Alright.
Sammy, what is your religion?
That's a
It is
12.
plus 20. 17.
Ooh.
Nice. This makes sense, though. I'm just rechecking what Hugh's religion is, and that's
Oh.
an 18. This kind of does make sense, though. Because really, who here has the direct ties to deities, huh?
Yep.
So on that note, Sammy, as you get closer, and Hugh as well, you're gonna realize these all appear to be souvenirs of some kind. Or maybe icons, you're not too sure, but they appear to be related to deities. And you definitely recognize a couple of them. There's a little Crunkle statuette. And you definitely know who Crunkle is, I imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely, because that's his deity's husband.
Right. I forgot about that.
So yeah, notice the really cute Crunkle statuette, and there are a few there. There's like a couple made out of stone, some wooden ones. Like, even with not having much money, I bet if you really wanted to, Sammy, you could get like the smallest Crunkle statuette.
The thing is, he has 0 GP right now.
We are not talking about JP. We will get
Yeah.
the thing if we want it.
Yeah,
This is
I'm
an
being nice.
FPS, and we decide the rules.
Also, just straight up, like, if I can shove toys and stuff at my players and on site, I can shove this at you guys.
Valid. It could be honestly,
It's
like,
just simply a case of, like, you say that you pay. Just simply say you don't actually have to pay any GP, don't worry, because, like, Hugh is also broke right now.
And so is March.
So,
How do three toons have a total of 0 GP between them?
the
there,
economy is in
the
shambles.
Yes. Thank
The economy
you.
is in shambles.
Exactly. Thank you, both of you.
Sammy is
yeah, I
definitely
guess-
going to get one of the Crunkle statuettes.
Yeah, and I think on Hugh's end, he actually recognizes. There appears to be. It almost seems like a tangle of strings, but there do appear to be stars on it. Still, it reminds you of something he's seen before, so you kind of see him staring up wondrously at it. But he turns his attention to the stall owner and asks, like, excuse me, sir, but what are all these items? And if you two have any questions, you're free to ask now too, so I can info dump you after.
Yeah, and also if you ask about the bottom two, I will take Morski's place.
Okay. Sammy is actually really curious about the one that looks kind of like a moon shape one.
The brooch.
Yeah, the
Or
brooch.
do you mean the brooch or the...
The brooch.
Okay.
The brooch is a symbol for Lumiere, the goddess of the moon, and she's sort of well known. I don't listen. I have done like 0 things with her, so I don't know how well known she is. But she's here. She exists. And she's the deity of the moon and some other stuff. But not gonna talk
She's
about that.
vibing.
Yeah, she's vibing, and yeah, it's this brooch is one of her symbols.
Sammy smiles at that. Like he just, oh, that's like just he's very much pleased to see deities on display on it. Because like Sammy's, yes, he's following this one deity, but he's technically also a follower of Crunkle because it holds up Sammy. This boy gives his heart to everybody.
And we love him.
So like he's a follower of 2 deities himself. He doesn't begrudge anyone for following a different religion than him or not following a religion at all. And he's just like he's happy to see other religions have their symbols out on display, even though he's touching his own holy symbol, and he's just kind of because Persmatone, even though you two know about her, she's canonically not well known anymore.
Yep.
Hopefully that's gonna change. There is unfortunately there isn't a Prismatone statuette here, but well, let's go on to the vendor's story, because he's gonna tell you he just went traveling a whole lot and he found a bunch of these interesting looking items. Some are recognizable to him as items pertaining to deities like Lunieres, that's Crunkles. For some of them, though, he doesn't, he's going to point out how there's some items that look like they have, or glass panes really, they're small though, that look like they have starbursts or something on them. Like, he'll explain to you that those are items that are related to the light.
Sammy's gonna roll religion again to see if he realizes what I think he kind of hits.
It twigs that the light is someone important. You don't quite remember where, though.
He probably just realizes that, oh, yes, this is a deity. I don't really know that much about this deity. Cool. Nods. He kind of just connects the dots of, oh, yes, these are religious symbols. Nod. Okay. I don't know this one, but sounds cool. The light. Tucks that away for later.
And the dude then says, "Oh, the rest of these, I just thought they looked neat, and I picked them up." And like he's going to point out it almost looks like a television, but it's a really strangely colored crystal. It almost seems glitchy. And like he mentions how he just kind of got that one off of someone who is apparently an alien. He doesn't know what that's about, but hey, neat item. He's selling it now. And he'll mention that, you'll see how it appears like some of the, I forgot what's the name for this. Essentially, the golden strings. They're a decoration you'd hang up somewhere high. Be
Like
it in a room or
streamers?
otherwise. Yeah, exactly. And the dude's gonna mention he found a couple of those, and in fact they seem to be kind of popular. There was even this one guy who bought it the other day. Really unusual, quite tall, has antlers. And that was I was rolling an intelligence check for Hugh to see if he recognizes who they might have been. Do you two want to roll me insight on Hugh?
Oh boy, yep.
And I'll see how much of that you read off.
That's a 4.
Oh, that's a nat 1. Oh, Sammy.
You two do not notice anything, but Hugh has I'll just say, as the audience, what we do see is, Hugh has a thoughtful expression on his face. There's the ... and he's like, oh, okay then. Alright. And he's just going to not comment on that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think some of us know exactly who that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've watched Tangled Strings, yes.
Yeah. Tangled Strings sure was a fucking game.
Yep.
Sure was. And
also, does the vendor talk about the last item?
Oh yeah, here's the thing. So he'll point out to another couple items. One he is able to say so that's an item related to torque. I don't know what this is, but it's neat. And he then points out to this one item which it's a little bit unusual. It seems to be a glass statue that was outright carved, which is really unusual. Glass normally isn't able to do that, but oh well. And it looks a bit like multiple eyes stacked together.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's multiple eyes, and no matter where you look at it from, they all seem to stare at you. Roll me religion, the both of you.
Okay, another straight
Cool.
D20. Oh, Sammy. He's a little too wigged out by the eyes.
No, you don't.
And
You don't get
you got the
anything.
10.
Neither of you get anything, and you don't connect it to any deity, because you don't know any deity whose symbol are eyes. At least I don't think there are a lot of deities whose symbols are eyes, and it's very weird. You get the distinct feeling that this item might be kind of cursed. You don't know.
Yeah, Sammy's just kind of slowly
Vague
edging away
feeling.
from the rest of the stall, just kind of like, don't like that. Don't like that.
Wait, you got a nat 1. That means I can do the thing. Yeah.
Oh no.
What does that mean? Also,
So
can I just say that on Hughes, and he notices the item, he probably outright feels that it's mildly cursed and just goes, okay then. But gonna be honest, he's probably still thinking a bit about the fact that,
yep.
oh, so he came over here and bought merchandise. Okay.
So, I had a little thing for myself for in case there was rolls of either a nat 1 or a nat 20. So, Sammy, with your nat 1, you are very very distracted. It's like this glass eyes are very very creepy. You don't want to look at them anymore. So you kind of like look away, look at like the other places, look up, and there is a small white bird with beady black eyes and a black beak and a red spot on his chest, staring at all three of you. You blink, and it's gone.
It's really ominous. I don't like that.
Sammy doesn't like that. He's gonna just kind of glance between the two of you and like, you guys done? 'Cause I'm done. Here. He hands the shopkeeper the required amount of money for whatever items everybody is holding, and he is going.
What's a hilarious thought ahead. So I guess Sammy has his Crunkle statuette.
Yep.
I want to say that while Hugh was going ... thinking about a slightly cursed encounter this shopkeep must have had earlier, he was actually holding the straight up, it's an item related to the Weave of Fate. So he was holding it. So I want to say, with Sammy numing off like that, he paid the money. He also paid the money for the item Hugh had in his hand.
Yep.
He wasn't planning on buying the Weave of Fate item, but I guess he has that now.
He has it now. It's his problem now.
Was March holding anything?
No, not really. He was
Okay.
just like looking at the things.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say, this will be really hilarious for the next time Hugh sees the decimal. He's just like, hey, so something really weird happened the other day, and then he's just gonna be able to show the item he has now, I guess. Just like, so I guess this happened. Also, you may want to be careful because...
Yeah.
A is walking around Toontown, buying things from stall keepers.
What crimes will they commit?
Many, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I say that like Sammy's able to get everybody out of the crowd pretty well.
You are, and now roll me perception, Sammy.
Okay, let's do that. It's 12.
Oh, not quite high enough, I'm sorry. You're just trying to get out of the way as fast as you can. And so you turn around and unfortunately you do bump into someone. You
Oh,
weren't
dear.
quite
Sorry.
weren't quite quick enough to catch them. Yeah,
I'm so sorry. Are you okay?
Oh God.
Oh dear.
God.
March, roll me. I guess this would be either intelligence or wisdom, whichever works for you.
Well, they're both a -1.
Oh
Not
dear.
the 2.
Oh dear.
March, you do not realize who this is either.
Oh boy.
Hugh does not either, though
Oh, God.
Hugh has the vague feeling that something bad's about to happen, and hey, the three of you. So yeah, Sam, you ended up knocking into this old man mouse Toon, who's weirdly buff. You don't know why. Anyway, he turns around, doesn't say but he is giving you the glare of death. And March, you now recognize who this is.
March looks. He probably like accidentally locks eyes with him. There's a visible dot, and then March and then March is immediately. It's like, nope. I am not doing this. We are not. This is going to be a nice walk. And he's just kind of like starting to drag Sammy, and Sammy is like still holding Hugh, so he's like trying to drag the both of them like the other way. It's like, nope, I am not doing this. Nope, no.
Cool. Sammy, roll me strength.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, March, you
that was
running
a
with
nat 20!
that was really good. That was really good, and thankfully, you are able to keep your grip, Sammy.
Okay, good.
You are able to keep your grip, Sammy, because March is running, and if there are people there, well, rip to them. I guess they're getting bowled over a little bit.
And Hugh can also keep his grip. That's good.
Yeah, he is. It almost seems like he'll slip for a moment, but thankfully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, with that nat 20, I would say no.
Sammy is like, not on my watch.
Yeah, like, he basically, I feel like he, like, feels Hugh starting to slip, and then he, like, grabs on and then tugs him, like, he basically just scoops Hugh up.
Scoop the baby.
So now Hugh is
trend
being...
of Hugh being carried.
Yes, Hugh is now being carried in Sammy's arms.
Aww.
As they weave through the crowd away from this grumpy old man that March is apparently not wanting to deal with.
And you might start to realize why, because from where you are, you can hear yelling. It is grumpy old man yelling.
Old man yells
probably
at Cloud.
Talking about how he could beat us all. Probably talking about how he could beat them all up, and in his days, the kids had respect and whatever. Just like
Sammy
old man is going ham.
Like, no, I had enough encounter with this old man. I am not dealing with this.
Sammy just yells back, I did apologize, as he's dragged away.
Yeah, I guess, to be fair, the old man has a -1 in dex, but he does have a +4 in strength, so he's pretty strong.
Oh, jeez.
But you all don't know that. You just know that this is a very grumpy old man.
Yeah.
And so you manage. And so thankfully you are able to run away.
Yep, and
so
March
congrats, team.
March starts slowing down now.
Okay, should I roll survival again?
Yeah, everyone rolls survival now.
Alright. Gonna have fun with my -1.
Another nat 20.
That's a 15. That's surprisingly good.
This is amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna say at this point, Sammy, you've put Hugh down as well, and thankfully you all can now start navigating and going back.
Mm-hmm.
Going back the way you're supposed to go. So Sammy, you know what's up. You're going, you're raring, and yeah, March, you're able to keep up.
Yeah.
Hugh, though, with his freaking 5, is doing his best to keep up, but you know what?
No!
You know what?
No!
Child!
Because, why do I get the feeling you're both glaring at me? You're not even in person here. Okay, anyways. Anyways, yeah, so there is unfortunately still a bit of a crowd. So, Sammy, March, when you turn around, you've lost Hugh.
Sammy starts cursing in Grolix.
March is just like, he's like kind of starting to think about like, what can I do? And then it's like, and then...
Do you want to roll me perception?
Well, there's a specific thing that I wanted to do.
Go
So
for
I'm
it
gonna.
then. Do it.
Right. So he. Well, first of all, He's gonna roll perception to see around him. That's a 15. He probably doesn't see Hugh.
Holy bleep!
23!
Okay, I am going to say though, like, March, you do not see Hugh around, though you are able to just notice there are a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Seems like with your running with your running away, you got back to the crowded part of the streets, and Sammy, you might have noticed like a familiar shock of blonde hair who's just got really lost in the crowds. You don't see him anymore, I'm sorry.
Like, I feel like Sammy sees Hugh get kind of like swept away in the crowd. So
Yeah.
he doesn't immediately jump to, oh no, my friend has been kidnapped.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
So March is just kind of like thinking. He's at first kind of thinking about just going in the crowd, and then he kind of like, wait a minute, and he's gonna cast detect magic. And this is a thing me and Morski talked about, that March can use detect magic and actually find Hugh.
Because
And
I guess we accidentally made it canon that, well, to be fair, Hugh has a very strong inner magic.
Yep.
And looks like March can sense that.
Yep. And Sammy, you see March kind of like there isn't really a cue for it, but March's eyes start. First of all, I'm gonna send the picture for how March looks like when he uses detect magic.
Ooh, shiny.
And his eyes have like little strands of light in them now, and in the direction where you've seen Hugh, there is now a soft airbrushed purple on it, and say, Sammy, what is Sammy's main magic? What's like the magic he used the most out of like the kinds of magic?
Like, is it evocation? Is it enchantment?
I honestly do not know. It's just he uses cleric spells. They are cleric spells.
I'm gonna say divination for like whatever's sake. So, in your direction, it glows orange, and there is a soft glow also around his head, and it's just he now turns to you like, alright, I think I know where he is.
Sammy, blink, blink, blink. And then his eyes crinkle into a grin, and he's like, let's get him before he gets too swept away.
Yep. And March is gonna hold Sammy's hands because we don't want anybody else getting swept up and lost.
Sammy's gonna hold on to March very tightly because, this goes two ways, my friend.
Yes,
and
good.
I think. Oh, and here's the good thing, March. Since with your detect magic, you're able to sense where Hugh is. You managed to go in that direction. I'm guessing the glow gets a bit brighter.
Yep, the glow gets stronger. Like the color gets more saturated the closer he gets to Hugh, and well, it's not very much a big difference because it isn't like active magic, but it's just like slightly stronger.
You're hot and you're cold.
Yes. And you're also then gonna find Hugh managed to just pull himself from the crowd. He's in an alleyway, but he notices you too, and pretty much he's just waving and I'm over here.
And March is kind of like sort of start running towards him and just like, "You, please don't. You nearly gave us a heart attack."
Sammy's just gonna.
I'm sorry.
Sammy's scooping up Hugh into his arms just because. Nope, we are not getting lost anymore.
That is very valid.
And March is just gonna do a shake of his head, and the detect magic fades away because he doesn't need that anymore.
We found the people that we were looking for.
Yeah. Thankfully you found your wizard. He's in your arms now.
Yep, we found the wizard.
Yes, good. This is good.
And yeah, I will say he's hugging you back as you've picked him up. And that's that. You're able to walk on forwards, and you got a freaking nat 20 earlier, Sammy. I won't make you roll this again. You are able to find the path, and you realize you're quite close to the shrine now.
Alright, on that note, hey Hugh, March, roll me perception.
Cool.
That's an 8, March, please!
That's a 17.
Okay. March, you notice that as soon as you guys cross the street from one block to another, it is suddenly very quiet. There is no one around. Which is really weird because you guys were fighting and struggling across this, basically you were fighting upstream in this crowd, and suddenly, boom, crowd's gone. And it's quiet. Hugh, you notice this as well, and you are able to look around while you're in Sammy's arms, and you notice that this is the really rundown part of Toontown. There's abandoned shops, a lot of them boarded up. Some have glass that's broken, which is one of the reasons why the shops are boarded up. You don't know exactly what happened here, but you feel like something did happen here. And Toontown is trying to do its best to forget that this place ever existed. It feels a bit lonely, this side of town. And you look at Sammy and you notice he doesn't seem to really pay this part of this atmosphere any mind as he's walking.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's kind of ominous. And is there any magic here? Is there something? Because it feels like there's something magical going on here. Can you roll Arcana for that?
Why don't you actually roll me religion?
Huh. Okay.
15. You got a 15. One of the things that you remember reading about Prismatone is she appears in silent places. Which is interesting because she's the goddess of voice. But it's at the darkest of night, when everything is quiet, that she appears most often in the lore that surrounds Prismatone and their followers. So you feel like there's something like that going on, but there's something else. You remember there was the silence. And the silence, from what you can remember from the old dusty books that you found Prismatone's name scrawled on, silence was also the deity of silence was Prismatone's greatest enemy.
Huh.
So there's this interesting give and pull right here in this section of town. And you don't really have time to really contemplate anything else of that, because Sammy's you look ahead, both of you, and you notice this abandoned theater that The sign is incredibly worn away. There, you can't even tell what it was showing when it was in its heyday and stuff. The signs are so faded, and so are the posters, and everything's like boarded up like everything else. And Sammy turns into the alleyway next to this theater, and there is this slat next to, like, this basically, like, the fence has like a slat that's been kind of pried sideways and stuff, so it like basically leaves this like little opening for you guys to duck in.
Huh.
And
Okay.
Sammy kind of sets Hugh down and then ducks inside, and he's like, "Come on."
March follows.
Yeah, I think out of everyone, Hugh's gonna have the least trouble hitting on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
And as you guys enter what turns into this very well kept garden with very lush plants everywhere you look, the feeling changes. It doesn't feel like this place is forgotten at all. It feels well cared for and loved and full of memory. And there's the babble of a brook. Well, not a brook. A babble of a fountain kind of in the far end of this garden area, this courtyard of the theater that Sammy has worked so hard to revitalize. And as you look around, you notice there is a statue in the fountain, and since you both kind of know who Prismatone is, you realize that this is a statue of Prismatone because it is a dark iron made statue with glass blown colorful hair, holding a woman holding a spear, and it's Prismatone. And as you look around, you notice all of the wild array of different colorful flowers and the grass being well tended, and it doesn't, like, there's no spots of, like, dry, brittle cracking like you would expect an abandoned courtyard to have. And, like, the trees are very healthy, and, like, as you notice, like, there's some flowers on vines that are kind of all interwoven around the trees, and they're roses. But since it's during the day, you don't really notice anything really interesting about these roses. And then there's like a few floating lilies in the pond that are very pretty. They're black. They're like full on black as you look at them. And like there's other rainbow flowers and just a wide array of different flowers around the flower beds and such.
I feel like Hugh is just gonna look at all of this wide-eyed. He's like peeking from behind Sammy.
Yeah, same with March. March is very much. He's just like, this place. It's so pretty.
Sammy's
so
beaming.
much care has been put into this. It's amazing.
Sammy's beaming. He just this is basically his second home. He loves it here, and he's gonna go into his hammer space, and he pulls out a picnic basket, and he glances between the two of you and grins and is like, "You guys hungry?"
Oh,
I'm going to say that's when Hugh's stomach rumbles. Hugh's stomach rumbles, and like you see Hugh go a little bit pink, and his hair floofs up a bit.
March kind of laughs a bit, and he says, "Yeah."
Sammy, his eyes crinkle, and he sets down the picnic basket and goes digging in it and pulls out a checkered red and white picnic blanket, and he unfurls it onto some of the grass underneath one of the trees. And then he sits down, but he sits down in a way that Hugh, you would recognize. It is interestingly enough a very formal way of sitting in Ghibli. It's basically when you sit down on your knees and stuff in a very traditional Japanese way. And the motion looks extremely practiced and ingrained in his mannerisms as he sits down.
I'm gonna say,
Mark just kind of flops down, and he just like crisscross applesauce, and he's not really formal or anything. Just like plops down on the picnic blanket, and just like he's sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think here's a fun thing then on Hugh's end. He then notices this about Sammy, and I guess he a bit shyly and a little bit hesitantly then goes down and also sits in that formal way, cause well, for those of you in the know, Hugh is from a noble family. He learned how to do these sorts of things, so
it's kind of
he's shy about it, but he's sitting down in that way too.
Yeah, it's kind of just interesting. Like you don't. It's one of those things where you're just like, huh, that's kind of interesting. Because yeah, like you said, it's kind of more of a nobles thing. But Sammy doesn't really comment on it either with Hugh, and he's kind of like honestly like busy, kind of like just burying his head into the picnic basket, and he is like, oh right, gotta say itadakimasu. And then he starts pulling out food because the perfect picnic basket has a keyword, and since there wasn't a specified keyword for it from Glorps, I have taken the liberties of embracing some more of Sammy's Ghiblian heritage.
I love it.
My goodness, that's adorable.
So cute.
Yeah, I'm gonna say when Hugh hears the itadakimasu, and it just if you're looking at Hugh, there's just like an exclamation point above his head, and so he's like, "Oh, okay." And I think he's just going to like go forward a bit and see if there's some way he can help Sammy out.
Yeah, Sammy hands Hugh a big plate of sandwiches. There's a pitcher of lemonade that he pulls out. A pitcher of tea because it's tea. It's tasty. Yes, good. There's.
I mean, Hugh certainly isn't complaining. He's a serial tea drinker.
Handshake emoji. Sammy as well.
Hey.
And he also pulls out like a few like chips and stuff, because chips and sandwiches, those are tasty.
Valid.
And I mean the American chips, not the French fries.
That's valid, and I'm going to. Okay, wow, that was almost a fumble. Anyway, and then Hugh on his end, he pulls out those cookies from the flat.
Yeah, and like Sammy's gonna also pull out his cookies just because, you know, they're sharing their cookies. Yes, it's good.
March goes, oh my god, it's a fumble.
It's a fumble.
That's not a fumble. Thankfully, March gets his cookies out.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hugh was attempting to take out the plate, but this is a fumble. Let me recheck what this means. I have his sheet around here somewhere. And with a 12... So with a 12, Hugh pulls out a very familiar cookie. Because Sammy, this is the same sort of chocolate chip cookie he made with you back when you first met.
Sammy's eyes widen a bit, and his shading goes sky blue. It's like, oh, you kept the cookies. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. He's happy.
Yeah. He was like, exactly, and like he was like, oh yeah, of course I did. And pretty much he's kind of going, oops, I didn't mean to bring that out, but
More
these would be
cookies.
really nice to eat.
More cookies.
Yeah, exactly. This would be really nice to have now. So, I rolled again, and that was a 9. So Hugh is able to pull out the plates. So now there are plates for all of the cookies.
That's
yes,
good.
good. Yes, good. And Sammy, there is food. There is food now. It is good. And Sammy, kind of he looks at Hugh and he's like, Hugh, I meant to ask earlier in the apartment, but have you been okay?
Hugh kind of stops at that and thinks, that is a legit question. And now, do you both want to roll me insight?
Yes, I do.
You sure will. Wait.
Whoa,
Well, okay,
what?
that's a 19 plus 2, so it's 21.
Holy
I clicked
bleep.
enter before I put the modifier, so that's a 21.
Still,
And I got a
holy bleep, both of
19.
you. Holy bleep, the both of you. It's like,
I mean,
guess
March knows. March knows both of the occasions that Hugh is might be talking about.
yeah, I'm also just like, I'm looking at this, both of you, both Sammy and March, realizing that Hugh didn't speak out yet, zeroing in on him.
Also,
But,
before Hugh says anything else, Sammy does pull down his hood and pull down his mask because this is a safe space and this is food time.
Oh, baby. So do March and Hugh see the rainbow hair?
Yes, they see the rainbow hair and Sammy's face.
So March kind of like blink. Oh.
Sammy blink. Oh, I hadn't shared this with you guys before.
yeah, and I think Hugh is like, Hugh's a bit quiet now, but he does smile at you softly and say, you look really pretty.
His shading is immediately pink. As he's blushing, just like, thank you. He just kind of like, thanks, Hugh. And he kind of just reaches over and gives Hugh's hand a squeeze, because he noticed that Hugh was being quiet.
And yeah, Hugh gives, well, yeah, Hugh smiles right back, and your hand is squeezed, Sammy. And, yeah, I guess it's been kind of a time recently for me. Well, I may have gotten kind of hurt at the festival recently. Don't worry, I'm okay now. And,
roll inside on March.
Okay. That was a 6.
Roll advantage.
I'm going to, yeah, please note.
Oh, that 20!
Nat
Thank you! Thank you, Dice Parser.
Thanks, Dice Parser.
Also,
So-
Sammy is also going to be rolling medicine real quick to make sure that Hugh really is telling the truth. That's a 10.
You can have advantage if you want. Like, on Hugh's end, rip. I guess a 10 is what you get.
Yep.
Yeah, I will say, from Hugh's, you can tell from Hugh's perspective, he considers himself to be fine.
As soon as Hugh said that I got hurt at the festival, March just goes rigid, and he's looking down, and you can see, but he's not really like staring at anything in particular, but like it's very much something that happened, and just like, and even more than that, he with your nat 20, you can hear him just kind of like mumble to himself, just like, of course, like how, wait, fuck, I forgot what I want to say. Never mind, he doesn't mumble anything. Yeah, he just kind of like, he goes rigid, and there's definitely something there.
Sammy is immediately casting Cure Wounds on Hugh. That is a D plus.
My goodness. Hugh is actually blinking up in surprise at this, like, wait? Wait, what? And like, I think he squeaks a bit.
So yeah, you are healed for 8 HP, even if you were not actually currently damaged at all, because, Sammy is sus.
Yeah, Hugh squeaked at that, and it's like, oh wait, no, seriously, it was some time ago, like over a month. I recovered, it's okay.
Sammy is staring at you, Hugh, and it's just like, I've already healed you. If you had even a paper cut from when you got separated, you're fine.
And Marge kind of like laughs at, chuckles at that.
It's like, do you both want to roll me on insight to see whether you catch on to the fact that, like, for this at least, Hugh isn't that worried? Oh my goodness. Yeah, Sammy, you are able to tell that Hugh at least, he's not worried. In fact, between the two of them, March is the one who seems more bothered, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe... I'm honestly curious, is March feeling guilty right now? Because that's the vibe I got off of him.
Absolutely. March is definitely, like, looking down, and he hears Hugh just, like, he doesn't, like, he doesn't, like, feel any, like, ill intent for, not really ill intent, but, like, he doesn't, like, dislike the fact, but he he just kind of dislikes the fact that Hugh kind of like Hugh is downplaying how much he got hurt there, and March is he's not saying anything currently, but he's very much still at the I couldn't protect him, and well, there were consequences. And, like, stuff went down.
Mm-hmm. Sammy reaches over and pulls March into a hug.
Yeah, I'm going to say I tried rolling insight to see whether Hugh manages to catch this. And, I will say that I think he notices that March is more quiet. And Hugh is going to go over to hug to try and comfort March. But I don't think he realizes that March is so unhappy with the fact that Hugh is very much unbothered by the slight near-death experience he had.
Yeah, and March quietly goes, Hugh, you almost died. It wasn't just a bit hurt. I tried. You were behind me, and I still got to you, and I couldn't protect you. And Boomer was the one who saved you, and I just.
Hey, it's okay. Sometimes these things happen.
Sammy,
you managed to save us anyway, you know.
Sammy's hugging March incredibly tightly. March, do you want to roll insight?
That's a 5, March, please.
Roll again.
Advantage, because everyone is in the hug zone right now.
Better.
Yeah, March, you realize that Sammy gets it. And you get the sense that he's had people nearly die on him too. He has had people die on him. And he couldn't protect them. He gets it.
And March hugs back, and he's just like, again, just kind of like shaking it. And he's shaking his head a bit, just like, this is not supposed to be about me. Why is this about me again?
It's okay.
Is it bad that I have the image that, like, thanks to all of this, Hugh is now being squeezed in between these two?
Yes.
Yeah.
He is now. There is the Hugh sandwich again.
Hugh sandwich 2, electric boogaloo.
Exactly. It's hey, it's okay. I didn't mean to get hurt that badly either, but well, sometimes things happen, yeah. I got out okay though. I'm with you.
Yeah.
And you know what? March, Hugh tugs on one of your hands and like he brings it closer to where his heart would be pretty much, and you can feel Hugh's okay. You can feel his heartbeat.
Oh.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, I am dying. The Mira is dying. Oh, my heart.
The Staria is also dying.
Oh, my heart. Oh, Morski, you just one-shot killed us.
Yeah.
What can I say except you're welcome? It's the truth though. Hugh cares about you, and he's here.
He is still here.
Sometimes you get hurt, but he made it, and he's here.
And Sammy just squeezes the both of you, and he's just... Sometimes things go wrong, and it's okay to be upset about what happened, March. It's okay to feel distress over nearly losing someone, but you do have to take in the fact that they are still here with you. Hugh's still here.
And I don't plan on leaving, okay?
You better not.
Well, Hugh certainly has no intention of it.
Yeah, I feel like Sammy kind of just gives March another squeeze, and then is just like, he's vibing. He's vibing, and he won't pull away until March kind of gives the little wiggle of, I don't want to be hugged anymore.
I feel, well, I'm gonna say, March, even when you do, he's just going to vibe right next to you, cause he likes having the comfort too.
March kind of... He's gonna stay there for a bit, and then after he's gonna pull away, and he just kind of looks up at the is there a sky above them, or is this a closed building? The temple.
It's not really actually a temple, it's more of a shrine, but there is this giant kind of courtyard, so it's pretty open air, but we're currently under a tree, enjoying some nice shade on a warm day.
So March March looks up at the sky, and there's a little sigh. It's not really, it's a content sigh. It's I never thought I'd get here. Everything changed so much since, well, the last few months where I first came to Toontown. Well, where I stopped being there, and everything changed so much. everything is so much different. It's so chaotic, but I like it.
It feels like home, doesn't it?
Sammy
Yeah.
nods, and he is just like, Toontown is where a lot of things start. He says,
Also, do you both want to roll me insight on Hugh?
yes, I would.
Also, sorry. I'm
12.
giving you
That-
both.
you get a 12 and you won't like that 12.
I'm giving you both advantage. And sorry, I kind of cut into what you were saying, Mira.
It's fine.
Oh my god.
Sammy gets 12 and only 12. Yeah, Sammy just, it's like, it's where a lot of stuff starts. Toontown is where a lot of catalysts happen, and I don't want to be anywhere else.
Yeah, me neither. It's much better than where I was before.
Just really quickly gonna roll something real quick. 'Cause
Yeah, I'm gonna say Hugh sighs and he says, yeah.
Listen, that one. What was that for?
so
What was that for, Shira?
So when Sammy said, "I don't want to be anywhere else," there is a bit of a falsehood to that.
A bit of
Huh.
what?
Falsehood. Sammy was kind of lying.
Admittedly, I think Hugh's kind of distracted right now, because here's the thing. So he sighed and he said yeah, and so Sammy, on your end, you realize that there is more that happened apart from the near-death experience.
Oh boy.
There is
And
more.
before we go to the rest of Hugh's backstory, March kind of just like March realizes the falsehood. It's like, well, it's not a matter. It's not really a matter of where you want to be the most. It's just a matter of how you want to be.
Sammy blinks at March and he just kind of he smiles at you, March. He's like, yeah, that's right. And he looks at you, Hugh, and he just kind of gently nudges you, and it's like, besides nearly dying, and he kind of gives Hugh another kind of Mother Henley look over of, are you really sure you're okay? Are you sure? Because you nearly died. And like he just kind of gently nudges him like, hey, do you have more to say? do you want to keep talking? Like, we're here to listen.
Yeah, I think Hugh's going to just, like, Hugh blinks at this. You just kind of see him blink a couple times, and it's like, oh. Because Hugh's not used to being listened out like this, or it hasn't happened to him much. Certainly not before some recent events.
Oh, Hugh, I hold you soft.
And
I hold him soft as well. I love it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, with your 17 March, so, you know, from before you noticed what Sammy did, you also realized that when Hugh agreed,
Oh no.
it was on Toontown being a new start, and you, thanks to things you've heard previously, you're able to connect that, and you realize that it actually seems like someone told Hugh of Toontown, and that it inspired him to come over, because possibly something similar was told to him.
Quick question. Did Did Hugh tell March about Rena and Faye?
He did.
Alright.
Though, funnily enough, this wasn't heard from them.
Oh, okay.
Remember, there was someone else important, not Tone. There's someone else important in
Well,
what
I
happened.
think we know who it is, but like also, will March want to bring this up?
Well, yeah, so I guess here's when Hugh starts talking, cause he starts off quiet, and he's looking down in his lap, and well, recently I in a couple hours well, I guess I got to meet a demi-deity, I suppose. A person by the name of Rikishi. Uh, do you know the Weave of Fate, Sammy?
Sammy's gonna roll religion. That's a 13. What does
March
that
is
give?
also gonna roll religion just because that's a 5. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I guess, March, you were told of this before, but yeah, you only know what Hugh has told you, and Sammy, I think you do recognize the name, and you realize that that's the name of a deity. Maybe even connected that those golden strings you had, well, he was holding, may have been connected to them.
Sammy kind of just lets out a little, huh, at that. And he just kind of like, he nods a little, like, I don't know a whole lot about them, but they're one of the deities, right?
I guess you could say there are 9 fates.
9 fates? And Sammy's
Well-
just kind of like, holy crap, that's a lot of fates.
Well, I mean, I don't remember too well. It's been a long while since I saw this. For fun, I'm gonna say that the same book Hugh found, like, so the book where Hugh found out about Prismatone is also the same book he found about the Weave of Fate.
Alright. Just
But
an
yes.
old book about deities.
Yeah, exactly. It was lent to him for a bit. And, well, there are 9 fates, so I only remember some of them, but, I and a few others met one, and Rikishi is the fate of ruin.
Sammy's shading is kind of a light lilac. He doesn't like that. He's looking at you very concerned, like with a very concerned expression on his face.
Yeah, that's for good reason. And, well, Rikishi decided that A wanted to have fun with, well, us. So, I and those couple of hours were taken to this demi-plane, I think. I'm just gonna roll Arcana to see whether Hugh is able to recognize. 14, so he's uncertain, but he calls it a demi-plane.
Sammy's nodding. He gets it, but at the same time, he hasn't had the same experience that Hugh has had.
Yeah.
March doesn't actually look too surprised at the information that Hugh is telling. So Sammy, without even rolling anything, you realize that Hugh has told Sammy March about all this,
Mm-hmm.
but he still looks very much, I want to punch this demigod. He's not saying anything, but you could see he very much does not like this demigod that apparently did something bad.
Mm-hmm.
I just have this image of March holding Hugh snugly in his arms. Hugh does not see March's expression, but March just has the face of, I will murder a man if I have to. Well,
Yeah.
person.
Sammy is, I feel like Sammy's, like, kind of leaned forward and is holding Hugh's hands again.
No. And he's gonna smile. Like, you get a small smile in return for that.
Mm-hmm.
And what Rikishi did was he showed us a bunch of our worst memories.
Sammy's
I
hands kind of tighten around Hugh's, but he's listening.
Oh. And well, I guess we got to relive our old memories and we got to witness ours. On my end, I got to saw the day that my father tried to off me, and I got to see Irina before she was turned to stone.
Peck holding Hugh's hands. Sammy's hugging. Sammy's hugging. There is now another Hugh sandwich.
Yep. Hug. Another hug.
Yeah, I'm gonna say as well, Sammy, if you want, roll me religion to see if you recognize the name Irina.
Be rolling. That is a 10.
You probably do not, or you just vaguely, you get the feeling you might have heard the name in relation to yeast before, but you're not too sure.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently she's someone who Hugh knows and was apparently petrified. Oh joy.
Yeah, just Sammy's hugging. Just there's a lot of hugs going around because oh Hugh, Sammy's so sorry to hear that. Awful that happened. Awful that Hugh had to relive that and just oh. There are many a hug going on right now. He's hugging very, very tightly right now.
March just says, like, as a matter of fact, it was just like, when I see him, I am going to make him regret that.
She comes for you.
You refer. I'm like,
him.
Man, he's blinking up at this and is like, he's teary-eyed, you guys. But you get a wobbly smile and you can feel the gratefulness coming off of him.
I am holding Hugh very soft right now.
I too am holding Hugh very soft. I am holding this trio very soft.
Oh, mood. And I'm kind of curious, so yeah, March, who were you referring to then? Were you referring to Rikishi or Kane in this case?
Oh, he's referring to Prime Bastard Man Kane.
And Sammy was referring to to Hugh's dad, considering the fact that Hugh's dad tried to kill him. Because Sammy doesn't know Hugh's dad's name.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Hugh only referred to the guy as his dad.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Sammy was referring to the fact that Hugh's father tried to kill him, and if he tries to do it again, Sammy will be there trying to stop him from doing that.
You get a very small... Yeah. You just get a very small thank you from Hugh. And he does continue on, like, for now he can't do anything because he was petrified as well.
Sammy nods.
Yeah, that happened, and honestly, I've just been recovering for the past couple weeks.
Sammy just gives Hugh a very gentle hug. Like, just, the hug has been going on, but it's just like a very gentle squeeze of reassurance. And, like, I feel like Sammy kind of, like, pulls back and brushes Hugh's hair out of his eyes and stuff. And it's just like, well, we're here now, and we can have some good times together. And we can all recover from what's happened.
Yeah.
And March nods.
Yeah, we can. Thank you.
Of course, you guys are my friends. And I feel like Sammy does eventually pull away from the hug and then is just like, looks pointedly at the sandwiches, takes a sandwich triangle for himself, and starts munching.
Yeah, March will as well start eating, then start eating, then stop eating. It's like, oh, wait. And he's gonna go into his hammer space again. That's a free. Okay, that's not a fumble. And he's gonna take out Tazzy. And I don't actually have a ref for Tazzy, so it's just it's a cat. It's a white cat with the tail of a snake with like black stripes on her back, and he just like kind of pulls her out from his sleeve, and he will also pull out from his hammer space cat food for her. It's like, and yeah, he just pulls out this cat snake thing from his hammer space and is now feeding her.
Sammy
It's like
stares.
you're looking at this. It's like you're looking at the snake, except cat ears. It has cat limbs. But also, what the peck?
Yeah, Sammy's staring.
Hugh, I'm gonna say Hugh doesn't seem to react to this either. He's still kind of quiet, but he seems more relieved, more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just chewing on a bit of cookie right now.
Yeah, and like
March probably sees Sammy stare and he just kind of like, do you want to pet her? He doesn't
Yes,
bite.
he's really nice.
Sure. But before Sammy can reach over to pet, there is a very high-pitched squeak, 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 as a little rat, a white rat, pokes his head out from Sammy's hood and starts squeaking very loudly in Sammy's ear.
Oh my god. Right, I'm the one who plays Tazzy as well. Fuck. Tazzy doesn't seem to be too, like, doesn't really pay attention to the rat. She's just eating. She's just eating her food. She's vibing.
Eating and watching. It's like, well, for all cat owners out there, you know when your cat sits by the window and it's like they're watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tazzy is doing that. I mean, no window, but I'm sure the rat is very amusing.
Yep.
I think the food is holding Tazzy's attention a little bit more than Squeaker's, because Squeaker's isn't actually squeaking about Tazzy. He was squeaking about a sandwich in Sammy's hand.
Oh my god.
And Sammy just breaks
That's
off.
adorable.
Sammy breaks off a little bit of the sandwich and hands it to Squeakers, and Squeakers is just like squeak, 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 and goes back into Sammy's hood. And it's just like contently nibbling on sandwich.
I'm sorry, I just have the image of Tazzy eating food and like, no, are you kidding me? This is like quality watching content. Tazzy gets to watch the other person get bullied by their owner. pet. So
Sammy's just chilling.
I mean, Squeakers is one of Sammy's first best friends.
oh,
I am whole soft.
Sammy has speak with
Same.
animals. Sammy has speak with animals. Of course he's gonna befriend a rat.
I think they all
in
do.
yeah, they all do. That's very adorable, and I approve.
Yeah, and like I think that we could probably end it there with them all eating their sandwiches and vibing in the garden.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Then it's just
you can just
soft all around.
I'm gonna say, like, you can the scene probably ends with everyone's eating quietly and the vibes are good, and so we slowly pan on up to see it's slowly starting to go towards sunset.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
the sky is golds and reds and oranges, and you see all the multicolored flowers in Prisma's temple.
And
And
as
this
it gets darker, if you look up, the roses actually start to glow a very warm pink and gold as it gets darker.
Aww.
I think
And
that's
I-
where things. Oh, you.
And well, I was gonna say I think we can end it here, but if you have anything else to say.
Nope, that's literally what I was saying. I was just going. We kind of notice how the roses start to glow softly as the sun continues to go down, and this is where it cuts to black.
Yep. And that is all. Thank you for watching, everybody.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Thank you for listening in.
Right,
and
listening.
This was.
I said watching. There is no.
For all you know, they are watching the recording.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
But yeah, bye
Bye.
y'all. Thanks for joining us.